Hello, and welcome.
Hi, it's Shelley, and I want to welcome you back for a brief video on Pluto. I have just been thinking a lot about Pluto lately, and let me just adjust this. Hopefully, this is going to screw up my sound because I notice sometimes my earbuds mess up the sound during the podcast. Okay, anyway, I wanted I wanted to talk to you about Pluto because Pluto's about to go direct on the 6th of October, which is next week. It's Wednesday. It happens at 2:29 p.m. Eastern and 11:29 a.m. Pacific. And so I think that's around 7 p.m. in England for those of you in England. And the thing with Pluto is that it's a really intense energy. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust this. It's a really intense energy. Common thought on Pluto is that it's now a dwarf planet and it is incidental. It's so far away. There's no way it can have an effect. It's so small. Wrong. Pluto is most definitely the most powerful, intense energy, as far as I'm concerned, of the common planets in our solar system. It is a very big energy for change. That means that it affects us in our psyche, it affects us in our bodies, in our physical structures, it affects us in ways we may not even realize, especially if we don't get into astrology. So, when it goes direct, well, let's back up. When it goes retrograde, we have to review, of course, because that's the nature of retrograde. When it goes direct, it releases the energy. It clears up a lot of the frustration and the stress. And the energy of Pluto is a powerful warrior. It is a very astute researcher. It's intensively capable of looking behind the superficial. And that means that's how it appears in our lives. When I say the planet has attributes, those attributes appear in our lives depending on where Pluto falls in your natal chart, and your transits currently in the sky. Where is it in your chart? So, as Pluto slows down, we start to feel maybe a little frustration, maybe a little ennui, like something has to happen, but nothing is happening right now. As it goes forward, which will be October 6th, and if you're really sensitive, you'll feel it before then. Um, I can feel it building because, if you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, Pluto rules Scorpio. So you're going to feel it wherever that Scorpio falls. Currently, Venus is at 29 degrees of Scorpio, which is putting a lot of pressure on feminine energy. It's putting a lot of pressure on finances, on what we desire. Is it going to happen? Is it not? It's pressure on joint finances. It will make us more aware of our value in a broader sense to society. Yes, Venus is more about personal desire, but in Scorpio, she has to relate to someone else or another entity because Scorpio is in the top half of the chart. It's the eighth house, and that rules joint finances, connection to others, what goes on behind the scene that maybe cooperative energies are not sharing with the public. I think I mentioned on my podcast that Mercury, while he is not direct yet and Pluto goes direct, that Mercury is still gathering information, especially on the shift of Pluto going direct, because at the moment Pluto goes direct, the moon is at 17 degrees within 2 degrees of Mercury retrograde. So they are approaching conjunction. And then right after that, within a day, the moon goes into Scorpio. And so once the moon gets into Scorpio, it answers to Pluto, which just the day before went direct. So it's an enormous shift of energy, an enormous focus on feminine energy, on the shift of one person to another. I know that Biden is getting a ton of difficulty with this whole $1 trillion budget bill and the infrastructure bill. Because Mercury is retrograde, it kind of made me suspect that it wasn't going to actually get voted on yesterday, which is when it was supposed to, because Mercury is retrograde. The moon joining up with Mercury might give it a vote, and that happens on the 6th. Of course, or excuse me, no, it happens on the 6th because this chart is Pluto direct, which is the 6th. And then the day after, when moon goes into Scorpio, of course, the major shift and forward push happens. And so politically, of course, it's an enormous energy politically because it's Scorpio that rules government, it rules law and legalities, and it rules court cases or lawsuits. So, ergo, it is a likely ruler of bills in the government and things like that. Mercury having a say, of course, after Mercury goes direct, the next sign it goes into is Scorpio, which will happen in November. I haven't looked exactly, but I'm pretty sure Mercury doesn't get into Scorpio till November, which is Scorpio time. So the sun will be there, Mercury will be there. Probably, let's see, Sun, Mercury, Moon will have already gone through, and then Mars eventually will get there before the end of the year. So I think November is when Mars also is in Scorpio because we end the year with Mars in Sagittarius. It's going to be a really big Scorpio season. I will also remind you that Biden has a late degree Scorpio sun. So he is being affected currently. And then when all this energy shifts into Scorpio and Pluto goes direct, Pluto rules Scorpio, a feminine sign, in the sign currently of Capricorn, which is also a feminine sign. And Venus, which rules women and girls, sisters, any feminine energy, moves into Sagittarius, but shifts the energy. And we see a manifestation of what we've been dealing with Venus in Scorpio. But as Pluto goes direct, Venus is still at 29 degrees Scorpio. She does not shift until the 7th, which kind of right now surprises me. I know that the planets can go at different paces around the sun, where they are in the orb. Venus is at 29:13 on the day of Pluto's shift. And I'm just seeing October 6th. So I wish I had done a chart for where she's at now. Let me just see where she's at right now because it seems like she should be farther along by then, but I don't think she is. So right now, she's at 24 degrees. Okay, it's October 2nd. So 24 degrees of Scorpio. I'm saying Venus is probably really close to Biden's sun right now. I don't know exactly what degree that is, but I remember it's in the last 10 degrees of the sign, if not almost out of it. So I'm going to guess his sun is around 27, 28 degrees. Anyway, why I am doing this podcast is, well, podcast, probably not a podcast, it'll be a video, is because Pluto is going to have a significant, powerful shift that I just don't feel I really addressed in the podcast this week. Pluto has the power to change the material world, and in so doing, earthquakes are a very significant manifestation of what this energy can represent. Look for that type of energy in society. Again, because Pluto's in late Capricorn and Venus is in late Scorpio, there is almost a massive drive and shift to change the physical and emotional dynamic of the energy for the better. And yes, there is also a lot of Libra on the day Pluto goes direct. There's Sun, Mars, Moon, and Mercury retrograde in Libra. So there is a balancing. Libra is a feminine, let me see. No, it's a masculine. I'm sorry. That's what's always so confusing for me. Venus and Scorpio are feminine. Libra is masculine, but ruled by a feminine planet. And receptive, but yet masculine expression. I don't know. Maybe I have to think about that a little bit more. Okay, so we have a lot of energy in trine with Aquarius and Libra in air, but then we have this sextile between Venus and Pluto on the day that the Pluto energy goes direct. So it's going to be representative of women, enormous shift for women. I mean, you say, well, Scorpio is things that have been hidden. It is the energy of sexuality. It is drive. It is cooperation between two entities and commitment. So there's a strong shift around commitment and drive from the feminine aspect. This is desire on steroids, but also I think of um, Lucy Lawless. Was it Lucy Lawless? I think it was Lucy Lawless. And she played a very strong, powerful woman. I may have to look it up. If I look it up and can find out, I'll pop it in here. But she was really, yeah, it's like a superhero TV show, and I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, that kind of energy. So because it's on Wednesday, it's right in the middle of the week. It's just before I do my next podcast. And it means that our psychology, our psyche is going to be affected. And I guess I kind of wanted to more drive home the point that we are going to be emotionally affected by this. We are going to be physically affected by this. And in some cases, our worlds will rip and shift because it is earthquake energy. It is massive movement of earth, massive movement of the material, massive movement of commitment where we put our energy and where we have our passion, what comes in from the hidden. So enormous power every year when Pluto goes direct, when Pluto goes retrograde. I just don't think people realize how potent it is. And because of that, I wanted to share it with you. So just keep in mind, this affects relationships, this affects the earth, this affects commitment and governments. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is a strong connection to airlines, to foreign countries, to the connection between foreign countries, to governments of foreign countries and figureheads that are recognized as in power and authority. I mean, it just really permeates the common collective consciousness. So, anyway, that's all. I just wanted to pop in and let you know about Pluto going direct a little bit more, but it is very potent. Right after the new moon, within I think it's 7 hours after the new moon, we get Pluto going direct. So it's going to be a really rock and rolling day. And then, of course, the 7th is when Venus goes into Sagittarius and Moon goes into Scorpio. Okay, we'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.
Hi, this is Shelley. Thank you for joining us this week. To contact me for a private reading, go to angeliczodiac.com under the Readings tab. Background music was provided by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com. Music provided on show-by-show basis will be credited within the body of the show. For more info on my art, go to shelleyoverton.com. That's SHELLEYOVERTON.com. To purchase my ebook, Learn Astrology, you can find it at angeliczodiac.com, including discounts. Be sure to check back next week and subscribe through iTunes at Astro Energy Astrology Show.